Nightreign feels like a fever dream. When I first saw the trailer for Nightreign, I was so confused why the Nameless King from Dark Souls 3 was doing here in the Lands Between. Like, it didn't feel real. I honestly thought it was a modded project. After actually playing the game, it really is a dream, cause you'd have to be asleep for it to be true. Am I being a bit dramatic here? Yes. But still, naked! So Nightreign, for those unaware, is FromSoft's take on a roguelike. But if I'm being honest, it's more like a battle royale like Fortnite than something like Hades or Risk of Rain. It's just Fortnite with swords. So upon starting the game, you literally land in on a hawk. Although not letting the guardians fly in is a terrible missed opportunity. I mean, he's a bird. I guess he must be a penguin. My apologies. So the main gist of it is upon landing you need to survive 2 nights. And you do that by leveling up, fighting enemies, looking for gear, all whilst the Nightreign slowly closes in on you, which causes damage if you're caught in it. It's also purple. I guess it must be very hot. Upon surviving the 2 nights, you can finally challenge the final boss, the Night Lord. Now, the roguelike aspects that were added are the random weapon drops, the boss spawns, and this thing called the Shifting Earth events, which just changes parts of the map to either have snow, scarlet rot, a hole, I didn't know California was in this game, or a castle. The map itself is basically the same. Finally, I can really gamble how I want to suffer in a game. Yay! Now, the Nightfarers themselves are really just builds based on certain attributes that have existed in the past, like strength, intelligence, or dexterity, with some additional abilities tacked onto them for good measure. For example, the Raider is basically a strength build, and his abilities is a knockback punch, and the ultimate is him punching the ground so hard he summons a fucking rock. Talk about being too angry to die. In other words, Unga Bunga. Surprisingly though, despite the preferred builds each Nightfarer may lean more towards, they actually don't limit you on what weapons you can use. If you find it, you can use it. Which is really nice considering FromSoft games have always had some of the coolest weapons that just weren't always accessible to everyone. You couldn't have certain weapons and have them be effective simply because your build was either not strong enough or you were just too dumb. But this change has opened the floodgates to the most random combinations you can imagine. I'm sure my fellow Revenant enjoys can agree with me here. It is truly a great time to be alive. Get out of here, Ranny, you bitch. One of the stronger points of this game is obviously the boss fights, but having access to an extensive library of the previous ones, but also on top of that having access to what is essentially creative mode for the bosses, really pushes this game into a realm of its own. Specifically the realm of making me want to kill myself. The mainline bosses are just minor blockers during each run, which when you think about it is simply insane and madness. But the potential of them spawning in randomly too in the open and just causing havoc on your stats is just added fuel to the chaotic nature of this game. If you happen to lose to Margaret in the wild, he'll actually give you a buff that causes you to take more damage. You know, maybe locking his ass up in the sewers wasn't that bad of an idea after all. Maybe next time we can pour some concrete down there too. I hear they're having a great deal at your local hardware store. Speaking of chaotic, let me introduce you to the Night Lords. These are the bosses you fight on the last day, and my god are they something. So long as something means hard or extra hard. Like this tree. Oh my god. There's a reason why FromSoft excels at boss fights, but my god is this outrageous. Take everything you knew about their boss fights in the past and crank it up by 100 across every single stat. Especially bullshit. The fights are so over the top visually, with some of the attacks just being fucking crazy, and that's me being polite about it. I thought man was about to crash a planet on my ass when I saw this. The movesets are crazy and borderline unfair, especially the last one. It honestly feels like a modder's wet dream. Like, how many moves and ailments do you want a boss to have? Yes. Pretty sure I've done a lot more running away than actually rolling into moves and dodging shit. You just don't have enough time to learn a boss's moveset, except for the Night Lords. And even then, I'm not too confident, I'm just gonna block. And because of all this, the game actually offers a lot of replayability. But what really has brought me back time and time again is grinding for those sweet skins! Oh yeah! You're telling me I can play as Solaire? Take my money. Wait, it's free? Take my money again. All the other skins are also great and really nice and well thought out. But Solaire? Praise the sun, you fucks! I've seen enough. I'm playing this game till the sun blows up. What actually did catch me off guard was that they actually gave us a single player experience that isn't just soloing the expedition cause you enjoy cruel and unusual punishment. But they actually gave us some lore missions, which in all fairness is actually quite short, but actually breathes some depth into the Nightfarers. You know, like how they got here, tragic backstory, yada yada yada. Which of course is tied neatly into the general gameplay. It was a surprise for sure, but a welcome one. What wasn't a welcome surprise was the fact that the queues during these quests can just randomly fail or just take forever. Like, did they just chuck me in a different queue because I have a side quest during a normal run? The main mission is still the same thing. The game really is just an enjoyable time, whether it's with randoms or with friends. I can easily see it sitting in someone's Steam library as a low commitment pickup with the rest of the roguelikes. But in reality, this is where the praises stop, because outside of the main gameplay aspects, Nightreign really is a nightmare. The game reeks of being rushed and really feels like a quick money grab. It's just comically incomplete. Like, it's so silly you can't believe it was released like this, because most of it is just little things. For example, the storm sprint and double jump are crucial additions that make the game work, as it allows you to easily navigate around the similarly sized Limgrave map. Wait, was this the DLC Miyazaki was actually talking about? Probs, eh? But whilst the sprint is well implemented, the jumping leaves a lot to be desired, as there are times it just looks so janky. But what really gets me is that whilst there are clear indicators on where you can jump like these brick pillars, there are other times where you can actually jump but it's not obvious, and times where it looks like you can jump but you can't. Didn't know this game was a gambling simulator where the payout is whether or not I get to jump or not. Seems like this was a setup
to make me look like a fool.
And whilst this game is aimed towards the more veteran soul enjoyers, I really feel like they dropped the ball for new players. Like, there isn't much of a tutorial other than the very first one upon loading the game. And that's only for the Wilder. None of the other Nightfarers get an intro like this other than a slide presentation. I guess someone at FromSoft really likes PowerPoint. And while they do have a training ground for you to practice in, because in all honesty, there's really only 2 skills and you definitely learn more on the job, and of course the very heavily worded visual codex that I'm sure a lot of people would be reading 100%. But there should have been the slightest bit of hand holding. Because you know darn well there's that one person. Would it have killed them to have at least an option on how to play certain Nightfarers? Apparently so, cause they didn't do it. And then there's a laundry list of really questionable things that is missing without much reasoning. Like, what do you do when you have a person leave?
Oh no! Oh no!
Do you A, quit, B, quit, C, definitely quit, or D, keep playing and suffering? I think I'm gonna have to go with keep playing and suffering. In all seriousness, I had one instance where a person selfishly left, and upon struggling to progress, I decided to quit. But upon logging back in, and instead of starting a new game, I found myself in the same session. Now, I get not ending the session for those brave souls who want to continue, and we appreciate their bravery and service, but sometimes you gotta leave the sinking ship because, I don't know, it's sinking and I can't swim. I think a simple surrender option would have been a good enough solution. Or even just add someone else in if it isn't too late in the expedition. The options are endless. They of course chose none. Technically that was a part of the endless option, not doing anything about it. But the biggest brain trust of a decision they made was that you can't actually duo. Sorry? Like, I get it's designed as a free player person experience, but you'd think they would have anticipated this. If we can play 3 players, why not 2?
¿Por qué no los dos?
Shut up, bitch. I'm not even saying make it easier or just a difficulty when playing 2 players. Like, can we at least have the option to start the expedition with it? No. But you can solo though. So you can have trios and solos, but no duos. All this sounds to me is some anti-Duolingo propaganda is what this is. They said they overlooked it. I don't care for the reason, cause it happened. And then there's just little things like the map in the Player Hub menu where it has the locations you can go to in a list on the left and a movable map on the right. But when you move to the location you want to on the map, which has its own dedicated controls by the way, it doesn't let you. It instead takes you to wherever you have left on the fucking list. Did they forget the purpose of an interactive map? Like, if they didn't want us to use it, then why have it usable then? Speaking of the Player Hub, if you happen to be roaming around the Player Hub, that itself is not an active battleground, but if you happen to fall off the map cause, you know, you just happen to fall off the map, you know, things people do while waiting in the lobby, your matchmaking actually gets cancelled. Who the fuck thought that was necessary? Like, the fact that this somehow made it into the final product leads me to believe this was definitely a rushed product. That or they're actively discriminating upon people who happen to fall off cliffs. That's heightsism. whatever. And whilst these are all small issues relatively speaking, they are working on implementing duos and have since released a patch that makes it possible to solo. Now, as more as a public service announcement more than anything, just because soloing is possible doesn't mean you should do it. Cruel and unusual punishment on people is one thing, self-inflicted cruel and unusual punishment,
Stop it. Get some help.
people often get caught in whether they could and don't seem to think whether or not they should. But all in all, the main issue at hand is they served us an inferior product. Somebody's getting a poor Yelp review. That wasn't just missing the bells and whistles, they didn't even have it there in the first place. Riding very hard off the coattail and success of the Elden Ring IP. It's just disappointing that whilst the game itself is great, it's just laced with so many issues that when added up is no longer so little and can't be just ignored. That's a lot of shit. Yes, it is cheaper than most games, but I don't think that omits it from fair criticism. The state this game got released in really doesn't feel real. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you liked it, please be sure to like it. Subscribe if you haven't already and share it with someone, I don't know, that enjoys cruel and unusual punishment. Other than that guys, hope you guys have an awesome day and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.